YouTube friends, it's Andrea Foulkes here. I think this is now my third clip talking about past life regression, evolving consciousness. And for those who probably don't know who or what I did in the UK, I was very lucky. I ended up on a TV show called This Morning back in 2004, and I was the expert there regressing celebrities and members of the public back into past lives. And from that it led on to them making me a TV show called Have I Been Here Before? And I did 2 series of that on ITV1 in the UK. The upside of that was that although I was already working as a therapist, once you do anything in the media it gives you even more exposure. So I was very privileged and lucky to regress thousands and thousands of people in altered states of consciousness through into past lives, inner child therapy, spirit releasement, ancestral timeline healing, and working with your chakras. And from that I created a therapy called soul freedom therapy, which is basically healing the timeline of your existence. And when people do regression, they don't really always understand the bigger implication of the healing potential that you have. And really, doing regression is about the healing potential. But what I realized, hence why I made soul freedom therapy, was if we look at a past life individually, even if you work as a therapist and you work on a healing level with regression, it might not always be your past life. And sometimes you might find that you're blocked in regressing a person into their past life, and there will be a myriad of reasons why that client can't potentially let go. And sometimes it might be because their personality is too controlling. Or more than likely, you might find it might be because they have some other issues to deal with. It's the same as if you limit everything to just being this lifetime, you limit the healing potential. The same as if you do past life regression and you presume everything's going to be in a past life, you limit the healing potential. Now, the potential is it might be in a past life that someone has some issues. Ultimately, the origin usually lies there, but sometimes we're blocked because we need to deal with issues in this lifetime which may well have been compounded because of the collective emotional cell memory from a past life. So we might need to go to events in this lifetime first, and that will be anything from being in the womb, because we have consciousness in the womb even before you're born. Even when you're just a fetus in the womb, you have consciousness, and that can affect your current reality in a myriad of ways. I'm absolutely amazing the things that have come out in regression through doing what some people call rebirthing, but I do it in a different way than maybe some people do it. But anything from being in the womb to present day can have affected you, and you get what's called fragmented facets of your soul. So although we call it fragmented inner child, you could be 50 and it could be something that happened 2 years ago, a year ago, 10 years ago. We still call it inner child stuff, even though it's from present day back to being in the womb. So just to clear that bit up. So sometimes you might find you need to do that facet before you even get back to the past lives. Sometimes you might organically go into the past lives. And as a therapist, many times I've found that those past lives, although they may have appeared to be your past lives, they've actually turned out to be other souls' past lives, other consciousnesses' past lives. And sometimes they can be ancestors' past lives. And sometimes they're what we call earthbound spirit consciousness is past lives. By that I mean, we in this reality, I can't even say the UK, we globally don't know how to die, sadly, taking our consciousness with us. We don't know how that when the soul leaves the body, that the most important thing you could possibly do for your own soul's well-being is to let the whole of that incarnation go. I see this in past life regression because I always take you to the point where your soul leaves your body. So you die and you just go back to being soul. Now, at the point when your soul leaves your body, the most important things are: what did you learn? What decisions do you make about life? And do you have any regrets? And through those questionings, I can turn what's you've basically brought into this incarnation as a negative cell memory into a positive cell memory and release all those negative things that have been affecting you in this incarnation, because they will be affecting you. That's why we have a little what we call basic psychological chat at the beginning of a session to ascertain and on an intuitive level to work out what you need to release. Now, when that soul consciousness that isn't you attaches, it, some people like to call them ghosts, but it's kind of not that wooey. That consciousness needs somewhere to be. And when you leave your body, if you don't die taking the whole of your consciousness with you, for a myriad of reasons, sometimes people's beliefs about dying don't fit in with the truth of what happens to them, or they feel angry about dying, fearful. Whenever you hold a negative emotion when your soul leaves your body and you don't let the whole of that incarnation and the experience even of dying go, you create soul fragmentation. And that soul fragmentation, those parts of consciousness need a home. And sometimes they will attach to other humans who are still in a physical body, to their energy field, because the cohesion between you and the entity is always emotion. So whenever we do spirit releasement, if you've heard people talk about spirit releasement, you need to ascertain the cohesion, the emotion between you and the entity. And by doing that, we need to take you back, or I need to take you back, or whoever you work with. I created this therapy, so I don't really know anyone who necessarily works exactly the same way as me. But I found out doing spirit releasement on its own is limited, and it's kind of pointless, really, because you need to heal the cohesion, and that might create needing to heal the past life where the entity attached, or an event in this lifetime when the entity attached. And although they attach, we need to clear the emotion that has created the cohesion between the two of you. So that might create fragmented soul aspect of you that needs clearing. I hope you're still with me. I know it's a lot to take on board if you're new to this realm, but trying to explain it will explain why sometimes if you do regression, you don't always necessarily get to your past life, because sometimes you're blocked by an entity or entities being in the way. In my experience, 8 out of 10 humans have got some kind of other soul consciousness attached to them, whether it's an ancestor, or whether it's just earthbound consciousness of other souls attached that are affecting their well-being in some facet of your emotional body. Now, they may be dormant in some facets of your emotional body until you trigger the kind of cohesion between you, and that's what they've maybe been blocking in your life. So even though we think we're running our own life, we're not. Often when we have an emotional outburst, we'll say, oh, I was not myself, which is a giveaway to this stuff. No, you weren't yourself. Some other consciousness was operating through you. But the only way we can really heal and reclaim our divinity, because this is what this work is about, is reclaiming our divinity, is by taking 100% responsibility, not being angry, not being judgmental, but remaining in our hearts, and understanding discernment of the heart, and understanding that we can reclaim our power and our divinity by owning our lives 100%. We're not victims in this reality. We may make a choice to be a victim. We may decide to be fully functional in one area of our life, and then we cherry pick bits of spirituality we like, but then we want to be angry and a victim in another area of your life, and you can't do that. Eventually you will come to the realization, which is the gift of self-realization, that you've created all of this. It may not initially appear that you've created all of this, but you have. And if you have created the current reality through the timeline of your existence somewhere, you have some hope in transforming your life. And we continue to transform our lives. If we get a disease, we can go inside ourselves. It's our free will how we choose to play out this reality. There really is a choice for you to make a decision from your heart, from joy and from love. And this is what enlightenment's about. This is the transition that humanity are going through now. And this is affecting everybody. Nobody's, not included in this awakening. You can awaken if you want to, but it is a conscious choice to awaken or to stay in the consciousness that you have, and that will have a cause and effect. Every consciousness that you choose to kind of sit yourself down in has a cause and effect, and it's your free will which one you want to choose. So what I wanted to share with you now is just an opening in consciousness to understanding maybe past life regression, maybe the work I do, soul freedom therapy, in a more broader perspective, and to not limit the origin of the emotional body that you wish to clear and to transcend, and to be open to where that may have come from in the broadest perspective that there can be, to help you on your journey. So I think that's probably enough for today. So I hope that helps you, and I'm sure we'll speak again soon. So thank you very much for listening. This has been Andrea Foulkes. Thank you very much.